Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I'm really glad you're here. Today's date is Sunday, July 14th, 2024. We're going to revisit yesterday's event when our 45th president was shot at a Pennsylvania rally. And I'm going to show you a compilation that's got kind of a varying mix of information that I think people should have at their fingertips. A lot of times with this information, I screenshot it in case it goes away. So it will be available in that compilation, even if it goes away from the original source. So let's just talk for a minute about the event. First of all, you noticed yesterday my real quick video that I did on hearing the news that there had been a shooting. I did frame the question as asking about the person who was shot. I did not at that time, and still don't, believe that was the original Donald Trump 1.0, but it was someone who was acting in his stead and has in the past. Those of us that follow Mr. T and the rallies and stuff, we notice the different stand-ins. And I've often had a theory that this one with the open shirt, who always has the red-billed cap, first of all, I think he's cute. So when he's done with his gig for Mr. T, he can give me a call. But he seems to show up when there is potential danger. I've noticed that when there's been delays at Mr. T coming out at a rally, significant delays, oftentimes we see the open-shirted version of Mr. T come out. So someone I think that has willingly put themselves in potentially harm's way. So don't want you to think that I was gullible and thought that that was Mr. T, but it was an event that was involving our perception that it was Mr. T, most definitely. And my heart goes out to those who were harmed in this, not just Mr. T, but there was a fatality. Apparently, a dad threw his wife and daughter to the ground and took a bullet for them and lost his life. And he will be remembered by millions. And then there were a couple of people in the crowd that were critically wounded too. I don't have names for those or know the extent of those injuries, but it was a sad day for America. Now, there's questions. We're still within that 48-hour window, folks. I've often said we need to kind of wait, if we can, 48 hours, and then we'll start getting more information about the anomalies, the things that are being suppressed or downplayed, and then we can start making some accurate decisions about what we're seeing and hearing and about the event. But let's take a look now, about 24 hours in, understanding that there's still going to be more information to come out, that our perspectives may shift as we get more information. Let's look at what I've got, because so far I've found some pretty interesting things that, and a couple of things from sources I trust that just don't follow the mainstream narrative. I'm taking you to my compilation. If it interests you, you can click on the Facebook link that will be in the video description box. So let's do that now. Okay, here is just a picture from the event. You can see that there were protective services. I've heard that there was a combination of Secret Service here and white hat affiliated people, and the white hats were actually the ones that stopped the event from getting more intense than it was. Let's make sure I've got all comments showing here. Now, this is a fellow that's been in the news. There's speculation about why is someone who is not supposed to have other affiliations, supposedly, wearing a Kabbalah bracelet. If you don't know what that can signify, you might want to look it up. And yes, before I get any comments about it, I know there are other cultures that also use that red bracelet, but predominantly it is a Kabbalah bracelet. And the gentleman here took his eye off the scope and then went back on. Apparently this was decent procedure because you can get tunnel vision with the scopes, but regardless, there was a delay in response and there were tragic and fatal consequences as a result of that. So next up, apparently there was another shot that may very well have struck Mr. T, and apparently there was some bulletproof gear that kept it from being worse than it was, but here is a bullet hole in his jacket. Now, Dutch Sense, who I have great respect for, has commented that we are being misinformed about who the shooter was. The Trump shooter is Maxwell Urich, not Thomas Crooks, as they have reported. And the FBI has put that out, and so did local law enforcement, and I haven't seen corrections. Okay, so you might want to take a look at this. He had some sauce, in other words, some proof for what he's saying, that there was he was sure that it would go into private and protected status, but that this gentleman posted after the shooting. So this person that was supposedly the shooter was alive after the shooting. He maybe happened to go to ground now and get a new identity. I don't know, but if they're going to stick with the story that the shooter was Thomas Crooks, then he was somehow actively involved with that. But if he was posting after the event, wasn't his smartest move. Okay, so you can read about that. Then Nina Patriot has something that came from supposedly this gentleman here. I'm the officer in the famous photo of two snipers on the roof at Trump's rally. I came here to inform the public that I had the assassin in my sights for at least 3 minutes, but the head of the Secret Service refused to give the order to take out the perp. 100% the top brass prevented me from killing the assassin before he took the shots at President Trump. So Secret Service fail definitely going on here, I believe. Next, we have the statement that Mr. T put out today, thanking everyone for their thoughts and prayers, and that it was God alone that prevented the unthinkable from happening. Okay. Mary from We the People News has contributed this, that Trump is in Cheyenne Mountain. The white hat body double, again, who uses a voice modulator to mimic Trump's voice, was the person involved. And that, again, is the larger necked version of Mr. T that I've mentioned seeing before at other rallies. Okay, let's look at a couple other things. Apparently I posted that twice. Carol Parnell has these important items to be thinking about when it comes to Secret Service procedures when there's an active shooter. That walking Mr. T down the stairs in front of everyone should have told you that something didn't pass the smell test as far as a real shooting. Immediately, a post pops up with the Secret Service officer that shot the guy again. You know, I included that, but it is rather unusual that he's coming forward so quickly. Afterward, video comes out showing the shooter being removed from the bleacher crowd. And then another video surfaces that looks to be another person down on the top of a roof. There's no way a shooter is getting on any rooftop without their knowledge. And we do have, by the way, folks, there is testimony from people that were there that were informing the law enforcement agencies on site that there was someone crawling up on that roof that had, they had knowledge and did not take action. Now, a very astute Anon's comment was this, okay? I think at this point it's best to wait for the grand finale. And I hope we get the whole truth about all of it. I feel the truth is the only way we will be completely free and never enslaved again. I included a 17 post for you that talks about how POTUS is 100% insulated. Expect fireworks. I have referred to this one before and told you if there is an attempt at harm for Mr. T that I knew he would be safe. We were told repeatedly that he's well insulated. And in this case, it seems to have been literal, since one of those bullet holes in his jacket seems to have insulated him from more serious harm. Okay. And yeah, I had a couple of double postings here, so I'll clean that up before I make this compilation public. So today's video is going to include 2 reads, and I'm using 2 separate decks for it that I have kind of cleaned and prepped for the questions we'll be asking them. When I say clean, you can call this hooey if you're not a tarot follower, and if you are, you'll know what I'm talking about. Tarot decks, if you believe that they do relay information, that's pretty literal. You have to be careful about what you ask. They can retain the energy of what they were conveying in a previous question if you don't clean or clear it. Now, some people do that simply by having sage burning. I like to just tap the decks on selenite that I've got here, slab here, and just let it know, hey, I'm going to come at a new question, and it will be this during the video. And so I've done that with these. So I'm not talking about, getting the cards in any kind of specific order, just going ahead and just informing the deck that I'm going to be asking it a question it hasn't been asked before. And I picked this gold deck to ask the first question because this one reminds me of Mr. T. He's very fond of gold. And I want to honor that with a question. People have been asking me, was this the shot heard around the world? Now, I've heard other people in the truther community are saying, yes, this is going to be the shot heard around the world. But let's ask the tarot deck about it. Now, I'm not going to do my traditional Kachina knife spread on this. This one will be a 5-card draw because I think that's sufficient for a question like this, that we're going to get our answer. Plus, if at any point in those 5 cards an ace shows up, we've got a yes. Okay, but we're going to have our general answer, a little clarifying information about it. The middle card, the 3rd card, will be any hidden insights or information that can be shared with us. Then advice about what we're being told or the situation in general and a potential outcome. That's where it's going to get really interesting, I think. So first read is going to be, was this the shot heard around the world? Now, I'm going to be specific that I want information that is not obscured or veiled in any way. I want to have an answer from the universe on this as I would have received it prior to any veiling or obscuring of that information. So yesterday's shooting at the Pennsylvania rally, was that the shot heard around the world? I'm going to switch the camera, we'll ask the cards, and then we'll move on to our second question, which I want to ask, but I haven't been seeing in any of the forums. So we respectfully ask if yesterday's shooting at the Pennsylvania rally was the shot heard around the world. It is sometimes referenced in the 17 posts and kind of a common phrase heard in the Anon community. And we want that information free of any veiling, obscuring, because there's just no reason. It's a yes or no type of question, and while we will value some additional clarifying and advice, we want to just ask this. There's no reason to do this. Is this event going to be the shot heard around the world? Okay, card 1, Ace of Cups. Yes, it was. Right there, we got our answer, folks. Aren't tarot cards just fascinating? Clarifying that a little bit, we got the Emperor. I did clear the deck well. Emperor often refers to Mr. T when I'm working with cards. I'm going to try to move these over a little bit, but keep everything still within camera range, so you know there's no shenanigans on my part. The advice card, another ace, Ace of Swords, or pardon me, the hidden insights. Then we have the Death card for advice. And I want to stay in camera range. So card 5 is going to be the Queen of Wands down here. Okay, so our answer, boom, Ace of Cups. Absolutely. This was the shot heard around the world. Okay, clarifying that. Yeah, shot and Mr. T. The Emperor is often my Mr. T card. Absolutely. Now, the Hidden Insights card is the Ace of Swords. Okay, now this is a card that indicates breakthroughs and justice. So yeah, I think what it's telling us is it's go time, guys. It's go time. Now, here's our advice card. And the advice card is the Death card, just reminding us that this is part of well, events are speeding up now, and thank goodness they are. It's been a long, slow process to transform our world into a readiness for this information and the changes that are to come. Now, the potential outcome, we got the Queen of Wands showing up here. Love that, because she is a card that always shows accomplishment and just a lot of optimism. So yeah, we are moving forward in a very good way. This was the shot heard around the world. So that's the end of read number 1. So let's move on to the next portion of this video. There were reports that there was a shooter in the bleachers, in the stands, as well as one on a rooftop. And the question that I would like to ask the universe that I haven't heard speculation about yet is it a possibility that there were two operations going at once? Let me explain what I mean. The white hats go to extraordinary lengths to have no collateral damage, no innocent bystander involvement with events. And I think one of the big hallmarks of that was the van that was blown up in the middle of the night when nobody was standing near. A couple of years ago, I think, was that in Nashville or Louisville? I'm not sure. Okay, but you'll probably know the event I'm talking about. Okay, so, but to me, that kind of highlighted the lengths that the white hats go to. And kind of it's at the core of what they're about, is doing what they do for the average ordinary human and keeping as many of us safe as possible. So while I could easily see them planning something that could be some sort of a psyop, that could be a kickoff event, what have you, I don't see them doing anything that would have grievous harm happen to innocent bystanders, period. Okay. Now, Real Raw News has reported that just moments before the shootings took place, I say shootings because there were multiple casualties. Okay. Moments before the shootings took place, they're reporting that the drone, there were some white hat drones that were deactivated as that guy crawled up the roof on that nearby structure, which, should not have been able to be accessed by any civilian at that time. And so we got some huge fails going on here on the part of the security that's in place for the rally. Absolutely. We've got some people that should be losing their careers, if not their heads, over not giving orders to keep everybody safe, saying, hold your fire, don't shoot when there's a gunman setting up on a roof nearby. Excuse me. Oh, I wish there'd been more citizens with that capability of stopping them in the crowd so this didn't happen. But what I'm thinking is, since we've had reports of a shooter on the rooftop confirmed and one in the bleachers or stands, I'm wondering if the deep state piggybacked a real assassination attempt on top of a planned event that was kind of a kickoff for the shot heard around the world. So was something being staged with safety in mind for everybody involved? And the deep state said, perfect opportunity for us to really do it. And that's what I want to ask the cards about. Was there a piggyback operation going on here with the deep state really trying to do grievous harm? And the white hats kind of making one more step in the movie process of this whole political drama that is the United States banana republic right now. So I want to ask about that, plus additional insights and information. This one will be using a different deck, and it will be the Kachina knife spread. So let's get to it, because it seems to me that's an answer that explains every question I have about the event. Was it two events? Was it two psyops in process? One very nefarious with no concern about collateral damage, and one that was planned to be a marker, a kickoff of more events to come, on the part of the white hats. So let's find out. I'm going to switch the camera. You can see me work with the cards, and we will find out together, just like we did a while ago with the was this the shot heard around the world question. So is there any truth in the hypothesis that we actually had two psyops going at once? One planned to be a very nefarious event, and one that was just simply planned to kind of work our way down the timeline of upcoming events in the process of nothing can stop what is coming. So were there two events going on, plus other insights and information, and all answers we want to be free of any veiling or obscuring efforts that have been placed on the information. The basic answer can be shared even if there's further insights that are withheld. So I give no consent to have any veiling or obscuring of information. Okay, we've got the Three of Cups, the Sun, Page of Cups, the Magician, Queen of Swords, Two of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. I'm going to get two more additional cards for this question, but let's talk about what these are telling us right now. So our question is indicated by, first of all, the universe is saying, good question, Laura, with the Three of Cups. Okay, that I may not have hit the bullseye, but I'm on the right track, considering that there might have been multiple operations going on at once involving an active shooter at that rally. Okay, now telling us a little more, we have the Sun card. Again, Sun card is a major arcana, and it is a card that talks about, oh gosh, regard for innocent life, joy, success, and everything's falling into place. So I'm on the right track here, very much right track, considering the possibility that there were multiple operations going on at once. Page of Cups, recent past, is a nod to the fact that there's a connection and we're being guided towards the truth. The Magician card is the current one. So there is the Magician, another major arcana, by the way. So we've got two that showed up out of the first four and two out of the original seven that were major arcanas. And major arcanas say that are pretty much about events that aren't going to be changed or altered in a lot. So they were trying to, I'm getting yes already so far, that they were trying to manifest a change. Like I said, another step in the progression of nothing can stop what is coming. And there was there was a second action being taken at the time, trying to piggyback, as I said, on the planned actions for that rally. Now, Queen of Swords, let's look at the near future. What's going on here? We got lots of swords showing up. Swords are about written and spoken words. We know right now with the absolute gyrations that the media is going through, not to call this an assassination attempt. It's mind boggling. So we've got a nod here, first of all, that there's going to be a lot of talk and chatter about events that are coming out. The sword suit, besides being about written and spoken communication and media matters, also touches on justice. So in the near future, there is going to be an eye towards getting to the bottom of this, even though we, the general public, may not know the extent of that. I do like that I have heard that the white hats aren't going to wait for the three-letter agencies to get them answers. They know that that wouldn't happen. It'd just be another cover-up and an obfuscation going on. So yeah. Now, some information is not being shared with us. We have the two blindfolds in the deck showing up both in the near future. So there's some information. Remember, I asked for it to be clear of any veiling or obfuscation, but knowing that the universe could and should take action to protect innocent lives with some of the information. So what we've got here definitely is the fact that there's just a little that's not being shared yet at this time by the universe with us. I'm okay with that. You should be too. Now here's the two other cards. Oh, that's a beautiful one. We've got the Six of Cups showing up, and another one that actually really is nice. The Nine of Swords, another sword. But this card, the Nine of Swords, is always about telling us there's not nearly as much to worry about as we think there is. Yes, there's some issues at play here, but not nearly as much as we would be led to believe. So please, folks, if you check yourselves. Yesterday when you got this news, I reacted. I contributed louche. I'm trying to recall it back to myself, and I'm the one that told you guys, don't worry, if there's something, he's insulated, it won't be him. And I still reacted to the news. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm human. It happens. But just an advisory here that we don't have nearly as much to worry about. And any energy we've contributed to eyes on the situation and stuff, you are free to return it to yourself and have it come back to you in full to be repurposed and used at your discretion for the topic of your choice. And then the Six of Cups is always a card talking about there's definitely an element of reconciliation and reunion here. So again, it looks like we're getting ready to close up some storylines and move ahead. We got an answer with the first read that this was the shot heard around the world. And in the near future, we can look for, again, some reconciliations going on and not nearly as much to worry about as we thought there was with these events. Let's recap. First of all, I apologize that this video is going to be longer than usual. I did 2 reads in the course of this video, and we looked at enough information that was varied that it just took a little longer. So I'll try to wrap this up fairly quickly so you can go on about your day or evening and decide what else you want to give your attention to. The first read we did, we asked if this incident at the Pennsylvania rally was the shot heard around the world. And the answer came up, first card was Ace of Cups. Absolutely, yes. The second card that came up, you can't make this up, folks. It really does happen. Tarot cards work. Was the Emperor card, which is my Mr. T card. So absolutely, that was the shot heard around the world. Well, after we got to looking at some of the varied information I had in compilation, which included a mention of a shooter down in the bleachers and stands, as well as one on that rooftop 400 yards away, which should have been off limits to anybody. I asked if there was a possibility that there was more than one operation in play yesterday, that if the deep state had gotten in touch with some information. Now, obviously, if they deactivated one of the white hat drones, they had some access to information that it wasn't intended for them to have. So I thought, is it possible that they knew that there was some event that was supposed to be very, I don't want to say, I'm trying to use words that YouTube won't mind. Was there an event planned by the white hats that was taking very good care to not have collateral damage? Did they decide to piggyback a real event in one that was planned to kind of just move the timeline along and advance that nothing can stop what is coming play? And that was what our question was. So here's what we got for that one. The universe was glad I asked the question, that we're considering that there may have been more than one operation in play, that there may have been that's why you're going to see some different reads, folks, from tarot readers. If tarot readers don't consider this first, so there's going to be a lot of mix of answers the universe gets depending on how the questions are framed. But asking were there 2 events going on here, one nefarious and one not, we definitely got it. Hey, you're on the right track. And the clarifier for that, the sun, was a success. Like, yes, thank goodness you're asking this and considering this. Okay. The Page of Cups showed up, kind of telling us for the recent past, telling us, yeah, there's some truth to be had here. You're on the way to getting some information that you're seeking. And the current card was the Magician. So they are trying to kind of control the flow of information coming out. They're trying to manifest the outcome. Both parties are that they wanted with this. The deep state's not going to have the results they wanted because they didn't have the casualty that they wanted. And that's kind of interesting. Plus, like I said, if I, a regular citizen in small town Maine, know that that wasn't the original Mr. T, what was the purpose there? Because if they really had done away with him, all they would have to do then is just have the original Mr. T come out and say, you know, it's a sad day for America, but somebody that was standing in for me was harmed. It wasn't me. So it wasn't going to get them what they wanted anyway. You know, it wasn't like we'd have to live with that result as the answer to the events for that day. But they're trying to manifest the best possible outcome they can on that. Did have a nod that, yeah, truth is going to come out. We're going to learn more about this situation. But right now, because side by side with that, for the near future, were both of the cards that have blindfolds on them, just saying there's some information is being withheld. So we were at considering that there was more than one op going on was stellar. We got a big thumbs up. Good. You're asking the right questions. You're considering some of the right data in the right way. But there's some that just can't be shared at this time because, it's a fluid thing and events are still in motion. Now, looking a little farther ahead, not as much to worry as we think there is. Again, and during the read, I reminded people if you contributed loosh when you heard the news, and I did, I did, even though I'm the one that tells you, reminds you that Mr. T is safe. I knew somebody was in danger. I knew somebody had been harmed. And so I reacted. And I am going to recall all of that energy that was given to that news back to myself to be repurposed and used at my discretion for the events or information of my choosing. Not because it was harvested off of me. You can do that too. And then farther down the road, as events unfold, there's going to be a little more truth out there. There's going to be some reconciliation and reunions going on. So I don't know. I think this might even be a nod to the fact that we're going to have some people that had been reportedly gone that may be finally coming out and saying, guess what? I've been safely kept away from harm's way for 5, 10, 15, 20, however many years, but I wasn't ended in the incident you thought. So that would really help people a lot. So that was the answer to the 2 questions I asked in today's video. And I thank you very much for your time and attention. If you're willing to receive it, I send you love and light and wish for you everything bright. Bye.